Welcome back to FPL Hive, where last week I played my free hit, which I think was a success, but we roll the dice now. It's game week 5, and this is my team selection. Make sure you like, subscribe, and get your comments in. So here we are. We have got Robert Sanchez in goal. As you can see, Enzo Maresca has come out and made some statements that he is not going to start every Premier League game. But one thing I'm banking on is that he's going to start against Manchester United and keep his place for at least another game week. So I've gone with Robert Sanchez. We know that Manchester United are going to come out all guns blazing, looking to get a result from the Manchester derby. And I also don't think Dubravka is going to keep a clean sheet against a new Nottingham Forest under Ange. So I'm going to keep with Robert Sanchez in goal. In midfield, in defense, there you go, just tricking you. I'm going to go with Van der Ven at the back. 14-pointer. And I didn't have him. I free hit. And I was regretting it because I know that, the same as Mark Guehi, what he did at Aston Villa a few weeks ago, we know that they're never really going to score goals or contribute that much in the final third. But I missed out on 14 points from Van der Ven. But it's not just that. I'm starting Van der Ven against a very good Brighton team that like to score goals. But, Spurs have got 3 clean sheets out of 4 so far. They have been solid. They have been robust. They got another clean sheet in the Champions League. So Van der Ven is going to keep his space in the team. And then I go on to Nico Williams. Now, Marilla went off with a bit of an injury. Now, I don't know who's going to be fit. So at the moment, I'm going with Williams because he's a guaranteed starter. And we also know that Ola Aina is out for a couple of the months. So Williams is going to stay in that position for me as I'm not making a defensive transfer this week. And I'm hoping that they can sit quite tight and keep a clean sheet against Burnley. Because one thing about Nottingham Forest that we can admit, people, is they have not been as solid as last season. And I went with the defensive contributions and also the reliability from last season, and it hasn't quite worked out. So I don't believe that I'm going to be keeping both of them for much longer, but I have to start one of them, and it's Nico Williams. And then I'm going with Ezri Konsa. Now, Aston Villa, what is going on? That is all we can ask. What is going on? Unai Emery is meant to be the manager who should have the answers. At the moment, he doesn't have the answers. Again, knocked out the Carabao Cup by Brentford on penalties. And they're just not looking great at the moment. And, Aston Villa, for me, I'm going to try and hope that they can get a clean sheet. I'm going to hope that they can go to Sunderland and keep them out. But the way Sunderland are playing at home at the moment, would it surprise me if they score? No, it wouldn't. But looking at my team and being honest, they are the 3 defenders that I have to pick. And I'm already dreading the game. And now we go on to my midfield. And we're going to go from left to right. Cody Gakpo, Merseyside derby, has to play. He's played, obviously, for Liverpool in the Champions League, but I do think he'll keep his place. I don't think Alexander Isak is going to make 2 starts in the space of 3 days. I expect Ekitike to come back in, and I think Gakpo will hold down his position on the left-hand side. One thing that I do think is a negative for Cody Gakpo, if you do own him, is that you saw the frustrations against Burnley on the weekend. Burnley sitting in more of a low block. Liverpool struggling to break them down. And I feel like Gakpo is one of them players, guys, that you want to see him running into space. He'll probably be better and more effective against better teams that are going to try and take the game to Liverpool, try and go blow for blow, like we saw in the first game of the season when Bournemouth went to Anfield. But I am going to stick with Cody Gakpo. I think it would be ridiculous to sell him when you look at the couple of fixtures that Liverpool have got. And then I've gone with Antoine Semenyo. He is the player that I have bought in this week, and it's a player that I think a lot of people should be bringing in. I actually made the move early and got him at 7.4. At the price point now at 7.5, he is still a very valuable asset. If you look at his next 4 fixtures, he is a must-have. It is simple as that. And I think the one big tick in the box, which a lot of people would be interested about from an FPL standpoint, is that he was on penalties. And I think that can add a lot to your game. It's an easy way to score goals and potentially get points. Please don't miss a penalty this weekend. And there are also bonus points as well. It's another way to get yourself contributing towards bonus points. So Semenyo is a must-have transfer, and he is my incoming for this week. And then I've got Josh King starting at the moment. And this is where I'm going to be honest with you guys. So make sure you like the video and subscribing, because I'm not just going to gaslight you and say this is my nailed-on team. I am unsure about this one with Josh King because he played 59 minutes against, I believe it was Leeds on the weekend. And they're going to this Brentford game now. And with Kevin making a great impact for Fulham, you've got Iwobi that can play there. You've got Tom Kearney. Got Smith Rowe. There's a lot of competition for places. And he is only 18. I don't know if he's going to start. I don't mind having him in my squad at 4.5 million. But when I think about it now with Ange potentially coming in, playing a bit more attacking, trying to get Forest playing more interesting football, even against Arsenal, Elliot Anderson had a good game as an individual. And I think come the game week, Elliot Anderson could be swapped in for Josh King, but as the commentator's curse always happens, if you don't go with your gut, sometimes you'll get bitten. And Josh King will probably go on return. But I think Elliot Anderson and Josh King is 50-50 right now. And then I'm going with Kudus. If you watch our channel and you watch the, sell, wait, or hold, you can see on the video that we spoke about Mohamed Kudus and we kept him as a hold. And I'm going to hold him as well. With Brighton away, I think this could be a very end-to-end game. I think there's going to be moments in transition where Kudus can be effective. And I do want to see him get more into that central bit in the final third. I think at the moment, my frustration with Kudus is he's holding the touchline too much. And maybe I got gate crash into getting him after that great game that he had where he got the 2 assists for a Charleston. But I am going to keep Kudus. And one thing I think we can all see already is that with the fixtures we have in FPL, there's no definites, there's no guarantees. It is going to be tricky. So we are going to wait and see. And this is my midfield for now. And now, people, we're looking at my attack. We've got João Pedro playing away at Manchester United. Well, we saw that with João Pedro last week, 2 bonus points and an assist for that. I'll take it. I play FPL. I enjoyed it. But I'm going to go with João Pedro. I think with Cole Palmer coming back in, it's going to be interesting to see how his minutes are managed because João Pedro has played a lot of football, played against Bayern Munich as well in the Champions League. But I think with Man United being vulnerable at the moment, a lot of pressure on the manager, I just think João Pedro has to play. He has to stay in. And then also Erling Haaland. Now, I'm so happy I own him. Didn't own him last week when I done a free hit. Come back to bite me. However, I will have him this weekend. Do I expect him to return? No, not against this Arsenal defense. It is just incredible at the moment. But I think when you look at the next game week, he is definitely a captain pick, even a potentially triple captain pick. Erling Haaland is going to stay in all season. And then you've got Ollie Watkins, the man that people don't know whether to get rid of or hold, I'm going to hold him for the next couple of weeks. They've got Fulham at home. They've got obviously Sunderland away this weekend. They've got another kind fixture in between that. If he doesn't return in their next 3 games, he is a definite sell. You could sell him this weekend and I wouldn't, question you on it. But I feel like with me only having 1 free transfer, I'm not in a position that I want to be taking hits yet. And it'll be typical that in a game against Sunderland away, Harvey Elliott potentially coming in and starting for Villa, giving them a different dimension in attack. Could it work in Watkins' favour? So I am going to start Ollie Watkins. I think, as I said to you guys as well, watching the video, that King and Anderson was a bit of a toss-up in midfield. So is my captaincy. But right now, I have it on Mr. Semenyo because I am thinking logically in terms of Haaland, Arsenal. Don't fancy captaining them. Watkins, we can't trust Aston Villa right now. João Pedro, minutes rotation. Manchester United need a result. So when you're looking at the fixtures, Bournemouth at home to Newcastle, who take on Barcelona in the Champions League on a Thursday night. Less time recovery, a long travel down to the South Coast. Semenyo on pens, Bournemouth with a week's rest. A lot of green ticks are pointing to captaining Semenyo, and I think it would be a differential as well. I think a lot of people that own Salah will have Salah, and I understand that. But if you don't own Salah, I think this is the perfect place to be. So Antoine Semenyo is my captain for game week 5. And on that note, like, subscribe, and that is my team selection on the FPL Hive.